Welcome to Confinement number 2. This will be our last video for tonight because I need to type. I'm hungry, and that's going to be the deciding factor on if I'm going to type or not tonight because I can make up for whatever I miss on Thursday and the weekend because I didn't get to type today because my 1-year-old nephew, who's a terrorist and a demon who choked shit on me earlier today. I wonder if I can sue for that. Anyway, so as you guys know, there's a lot of fucked up shit and fuckery happening on TikTok. You know, a lot of fucked up shit. Sorry, writing done for day 12 and day 13. Alright, so I got that out of the way. There's a lot of stuff going on with Pretendians. Alright, and here's the thing. I'm not going to say the Pretendians don't have native heritage. I'm not going to say that. Because they probably do. The problem is that they deny their black heritage. And you guys all know that I've been mixed since I started Kung Fu Havoc #1. And you also know that if you follow any of my social medias, that shit sure as fuck got Cherokee written in on there. Which is highly possible that I might be Chickahominy as well as Cherokee. And I'm still doing the research. I would be a lot closer to my goal if I didn't lend certain people fucking money. Like today. Anyway. Moving on from that. These poor unfortunate souls. You know, I mean, no matter how you slice it, it's highly possible that if you are a black person, it's highly possible that you have both native and white ancestry. I know that I do, and I'm not going to keep pushing this issue. But America as a whole, we have some problems. We have some major league fucking problems. And I don't know who's aware of what, and your political affiliation, I don't give two fucks who you vote for. I really don't, as long as you fucking vote. I do care about your moral compass. I try my best to not bring up Trump in anything except for like the shit that's been going over the last couple of days. But we're not going to touch that. And I'm going to explain this one time and one time only. And I hope everybody who's watching, out of the 350 of you beautiful people, I hope that you all understand one thing. That's not the one thing. That was my cigarette lighter. And I don't smoke. Every person who's ever put on those dog tags should still have their card. If not, they probably tossed it. I didn't toss mine. I kept it because I knew that if I'm going to go to the military hospital, they're going to need to see that I have my honest-to-God Geneva Convention card. It's been laminated because I fucked up the front, so I fucked it up. You can see that it's been fucked up and that it's been peeling and shit like that. So I laminated to save it because I don't think they'll give me another one. I mean, I can ask for another one, but I'm not cutting my hair. I do have my veterans card. And I want to point this out, because if you haven't served, and you don't have family that served, you have no dog in the fight with the shit that I'm about to say. Alright? So this is my veterans card. I need to make an appointment to get another one of those too. But, again, if you haven't served, if you don't have family that has served, you don't have a dog in anything that's about to fly out my mouth. Alright? You will not like what flies out my mouth, but I give you guys 99.9. I do not get up on this motherfucking app and start lying to y'all. That's not what I do. I haven't told a lie since I was 12. I might dance around the truth and give you enough of the truth for you to go figure out the rest of that shit on your own. But I don't dance around the shit. I don't dance around it without probable cause, should we say, or merit. Because everybody's right and wrong compass doesn't always meet everyone else's moral compass. Alright? And your moral compass is probably the most important thing you have. Because you know what's morally right and what's morally wrong. Whether you choose to do it or another will decide if you are an actual good person or if you are a bad person. I try to be morally right. I try not to do anything without thinking about it first, just because of the simple fact that my actions have consequences. Whether they are good consequences or bad consequences, there still will be consequences for a good action versus a bad action. They both are going to have consequences. Are you going to like that? No. So you want to make sure that your good actions have good consequences, because your bad actions are going to have bad consequences. It's the same reason why I tell my siblings, look, if you tell the truth today, it's over today. If you tell the truth 10 years from now, that's 10 years that you've pissed somebody off and held some shit that they could have just been known and dealt with it. And now that all that shit's built up and all the anger in the world, you're going to get all that shit. And you better be able to own every fucking drop of it, because if you'd have just told the truth and got the shit over with, you wouldn't have this fucking problem. And this is why I tell people, just don't lie. You might not like the reaction when you give them the truth, but at least that shit's over with, because then you told them it's done. Now, back to the topic. If you don't have any family member, this is a shirt. I earned this shirt. I bought this shirt. But I also rock this shirt at Fort Bend, Georgia. You've seen my cat card. My dog tags are over there. I need to go back to wearing them. I don't feel blessed without them. So I'm going to start wearing them again. As a veteran, a United States Army National Guard, no, I haven't been deployed. Yes, I have an honorable discharge. My DD-214 is somewhere over there. You need to understand this, and you need to understand it well. The bulk of NATO is us. It's the United States military. Whether it's Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy SEALs, Coast Guard, it's us. If we leave NATO, the world will fall. Understand that shit. And for all you Trump supporters, I mean this with the utmost respect. If we leave NATO, you can kiss your ass goodbye. NATO is to protect everyone. Everyone. We aren't always the good guys in the military. The first thing one of the drill sergeants told me, and he beat it into our head in infantry training, we aren't always the hero. We aren't. You need to accept that. You will have to do unposthumous shit, which is why I tell people don't get fucking infantry, because when they tell you what you're going to have to do as infantry, you're going to wish you never joined the army. Alright? I had to join the army, because it was either join the army and die, or commit suicide at home. I've never hid that from y'all. I'm not going to hide that from y'all, because I give you 99.9. That was a whole 1,000 right there. Because my life has been bad from fucking day one. It may not seem that way to you, because you're on the outside looking in, and no one knows what another person goes through, because no one really gives a fuck and no one bothers to ask. But I can almost guarantee you, as bad as I've got it, there's people out here who has it much fucking worse. And we can either help them, or we can hurt them. And I ain't about hurting nobody, unless it's with these fists, because I'm defending myself. Or the side note is, somebody really pissed me the fuck off, and I had to give them a knuckle massage. And at my size, 8.5, boot, it's a 9, depends on the shoe, up the ass. But this is important. This is important, or I wouldn't be talking about it. I know there's a lot of people who like Donald Trump. You will never get my support if you are Donald Trump. If you're a Trump supporter, hey, knock yourself the fuck out. But here are the reasons why I won't support Donald Trump. I will support you. If you're on this page, I will support you whether you support this fucking racist bastard or not. The first reason is because he's racist. You may not see it because it doesn't affect you directly, which means you're probably not of a person of color's diaspora. Please take that shit respectfully. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody with that, but this fucking shit is the fucking truth. If you are a person of color and you are supporting Donald Trump, you are working against your best interests, because he doesn't like you. He stated multiple times he loves the uneducated people. We will touch on that when I'm done. The other reason, besides the fact that he is racist, is the shit that he said about John McCain. The shit that he said to the Gold Star family. See, if you ain't got people in your family that's in the military, you have no fucking idea what service people go through. You have no fucking idea. And I'm going to say this because I'm not the voice of service people, because I haven't been deployed, but I did join the military. I got an honorable discharge. I earned that shit. I bet if they would have let me shoot my bow and arrow, I probably would have still been in. I would have been able to qualify. And I got a hip replacement, because my body clearly wasn't made for infantry, and carrying 300 pounds a day, every day, all day, and Bravo and in Delta took its toll. Okay. Although there were kids younger than me that were getting out for less than that, but more fatal shit, like stress fractures. Again, not relevant. All of my uncles served, except like two on my mama's side. My dad has two brothers, an older brother who served and a younger brother who didn't. My dad attempted to serve, and apparently he couldn't pass the physical. All right? I passed the physical at 37. I had been trying to get in the military since I was fucking 19 years old. I just couldn't pass that fucking ASVAB until I turned 37. So that's a lot of fucking failures right there. But I finally got in, and I won't plan on leaving the military. But circumstances beyond my control, my ability to shoot, got me an honorable discharge because I couldn't shoot worth shit. But I also got hurt, which they say also may have contributed to the fact that I couldn't shoot. Because we thought it was my knee, I have to lay in the prone position on my knee. But it was actually my thigh. And it didn't help when one of the drill sergeants kicked my feet apart when I was in a comfortable position. It's like, no, you're not in the right position. He kicked my feet apart, which also triggered some of my injury. But we didn't know any of that. I do not hold the drill sergeant at fault for any of that shit. I got trained very well, but BJJ sucks. And the Taekwondo they was teaching us, it also sucked. Alright? I've been a martial artist most of my life. Before I even got in the military, I was taught how to hurt people by a Green Beret. So the shit that we were taught is the soft shit. The shit those guys, that my uncles and them were taught, that was the real shit. Alright? We were watered down when we were learning in boot camp. We were watered the fuck down. So anybody who went in the military before the 2000s, you got good shit, and we got crumbs from your leftovers. Now, back on this whole Trump military thing. He ain't never fucking served. None of his family members have ever fucking served. And this is why I say that. If y'all have not served, this shit does not apply to you. Because you don't have family that has served, and you have not served. You have no fucking idea. What I'm saying is on point. The bulk of NATO, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. U.S. soldiers. Now, other countries are also in that line. All countries that are a part of NATO are also in there. But to be honest, the bulk of NATO's military force is the U.S. military. Point blank period. So if the U.S. military backs out of NATO, you guys don't get to sleep comfortable at night no more. Remember how they tell you that you have to serve because freedom ain't free? Well, when we leave NATO, if we leave NATO, your sons, I don't have any, but your sons can be drafted again. Your daughters can't be drafted, but your daughters can still serve. And if push comes to shove and we become like Starship Troopers, then your daughters can be drafted. There's a lot of sexual assaults happening in the military to women and men. Which goes back to, if you haven't served, this ain't for you. If you condone people telling people who have served so that you can sleep at night, that everybody in that grave there are suckers and losers, that's not cool. Motherfuckers serve so that you and me and Jesus can fucking sleep on American soil without having to worry about some jackass from Red Dawn crawling through your window and stabbing you in your fucking sleep. Now imagine, go watch Red Dawn. Imagine what happens if America leaves NATO. Red Dawn's a clue. The best example I can give you is Red Dawn. It's the best example I can give you. The second best example I can give you is the original Starship Troopers. Go read the book, then go watch the movie. Do them both at the same time. They have audiobooks. My family served. Freedom ain't free. Someone has to serve. Someone has to hold the line. And anybody, regardless of who the fuck you are watching this video right now, if you don't have a family member in the military, don't you talk bad about the military. If you don't have a family member who's ever served, lived, or died in the military, don't you talk bad about the military. I served. I didn't serve the way I wanted to serve because I would still be serving right now if I had an option. I wouldn't be at home. Home to what? Babysitting a 1-year-old terrorist that's not mine? I lost my entire life taking care of other people. I would rather lose my life on the battlefield protecting this country that does not give two fucks about me because I am a mixed person. And more importantly, I am a person of color. This country don't give a fuck about us. But freedom ain't free. When you weigh the pros and cons of that, this country don't have to give a fuck about me for me to give a fuck about it. You know the I'm proud to be an American song? Yeah. That hits every soldier. Wake me when I'm gone hold me when I'm gone or love me when I'm gone by Three Doors Down. Three Doors Down. That song hits veterans very fucking hard. Hits families of veterans very fucking hard. And for shits and giggles, I Am a Real American song hits me really hard. I want y'all to understand something. And this is something only families of servicemen can tell you. When you have a president who does not support the troops, when you have other troops who do not support the troops and want to run on down to the White House and rip up that Constitution, they ain't soldiers. They ain't Marines. They ain't Navy. They ain't Air Force. And they damn sure ain't Coast Guard. They might slide with Space Force. If you are in the military, you did not take an oath to the asshole in the chair. You took an oath to a piece of paper. You promised to serve the Constitution of the United States of America and all the rights and the powers in which it gives us from foreign and domestic terrorists. Don't you ever forget that. Because if you forgot that, you're not an oath keeper, you're an oath breaker, and you are part of the fucking problem. Trump don't like soldiers. And so for all you patriots that's running around behind Trump, you're the pawns he's going to send in first. You're the ones he wants dead first. But you don't have to like that because, I put 10 years in. This guy made it easy for me to be an outward racist again. But yet in the Army, we're taught the only color that matters is green. Yeah, I got brown skin. But everybody rocking this blouse right here is my brothers and sisters at arms. Those ones that have passed away and they can't even get a salute from this dude. The Gold Star family, where he talks about the fucking child that died. McCain, where he says, my war heroes don't get captured. Motherfucker, are you on the front line? Are you at boot camp? Are you nose down at Fort Benning, Georgia with fucking drill sergeants screaming in your fucking ear? No. Have you ever been to Fort Benning, Georgia? Have you been to Fort Jackson? Have you been to Camp Lejeune and all these other motherfucking places where soldiers are getting fucked up? For you to follow this man and be a soldier or a Marine or a Navy or a Coast Guard or an Airman? No. You're fucked. And you should be ashamed of yourself because you're breaking your fucking oath in which you stood there, hand on chest, and swore, I, such and such, swear to protect the Constitution of the United States of America from foreign and domestic terrorists. And then you get a president who says, all military people are suckers and losers. Y'all can go find the quote. I'm pretty sure I fucked it up somewhere, as I normally do. But I keep that shit a buck. Most of the time I give you 99.9. And you can go find the interview where he literally said that my war heroes don't get captured. He put John McCain down time and time and time and time again. I didn't vote for John McCain when he went against Barack Obama. Not a Republican. But I respect what John McCain has done for his service in the military. I respect what Oliver North went through in the 80s because he also was in the military. I respect our sniper who was unfortunately unalived by a fellow sniper or a fellow military man. They made a movie about it starring Bradley Cooper. I respect what he did because FSS school, that shit's no joke and I didn't qualify for it. I respect the fictional character of Rambo because many a times things like that has happened in the 80s. I respect the character that Tommy Lee Jones played in The Park Is Mine because shit like that has happened. I even have a smidgen of respect for the Marine that went to the clock tower and unfortunately was taking out innocent people. I said a smidgen. I don't have a respect for him a lot, but for serving in the military, that's like one of the highest honors of respect that you can get. No matter what happens to you when you get out, you served. And most people don't even have the balls to attempt to serve. And those are the same people that would get on the internet and get on TV and say the shit that Trump said. All those people in that ground are suckers and losers. I want you to think about that because this video is over, but I want you to think about how many people have lost their brothers and their sisters, their mothers, their fathers, who signed up to protect this country so that you, me, and Jesus can sleep at night. And yet y'all want to follow this motherfucker. And y'all want to back up out of NATO. Well, you heard it here first. NATO, the bulk of NATO's forces is the United States Armed Forces. So you like it or not, you want us out of NATO? It's going to be the worst decision that has ever come across America. And it will cost America everything. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Government name, James Williams Jr., Private First Class. Bravo, Father Time. Delta, Old Dick. Thank you for your service. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Comfort Effort number 2. Be seeing you. Think about what I said. Think about what I said. And again, if you haven't served, go and ignore this shit. But I promise you, if America leaves NATO, we're done. We're done. And you think that Second Amendment's going to save you? No. No. Because all they need is for the big boys to fall first. And then the world, you guys are going to wish. You're going to wish that we never left NATO. You're going to pray that NATO doesn't crumble. And you're going to learn that if it does, all of your rights that you are happy-go-lucky about jumping around, and this is not me fear-mongering, this is me telling you exactly what the fuck is going to happen. Ask any trooper. Ask anyone who has served. We are the bulk of NATO. If NATO is abandoned by us, you don't know how many enemies we've made? Let me continue. I'm about to stop after this. Let me explain this to you. My bro Theo B can back me. Any soldier watching this can back me. From the fucking 70s to the 90s and all the wars that we've had between Vietnam and Iran and Iraq and Desert Storm, and you don't think we've made enemies. You don't think we've made enemies, even though we got rid of the Mustache Man or Hitler, and y'all don't think we've made enemies. Freedom is not free. Freedom costs lives. And y'all think for a New York minute that it's a good idea to have Trump in that presidency and tell us we're gonna vacate NATO. So I'm gonna drop this to you as good as I can possibly be and as nice as I possibly can be. America's not safe. If we leave NATO, we're definitely not safe. We become a target. I didn't stutter. We become a target. We've made enemies. We were in Vietnam, had no business there. We were in Korea, had no business there. We dropped a bomb on Japan and allied with them. They're still going to be with us because we guaranteed them safety. But in between that, we've made enemies. Now, whether you like it or not, it's not going to be G.I. Joe. Cobra Commander's not going to come out of nowhere and start taking over the world. You're not going to have to worry about Serpentor or Cobra Law. The most dangerous threat is ourselves and the enemies that we have made by going into these countries. As I said earlier in this video, we are not always the heroes. From where we stand, yeah, we're supposed to be the heroes. But from the people whose 5-year-old carrying that RPG that I'm told I have to lay that little bastard down because that's what I'm going to do. Because if I don't lay him down, he's going to lay down one of us with an RPG, and he's 5. Don't get infantry. We have made enemies. There's innocent blood on Americans' hands too. So I'm promising you this, and I'm not trying to scare the fuck out of you. I'm making your ass very fucking much aware. If we leave NATO, we become a target. And you think you've been sleeping good at night now? Well, enjoy that shit. Because if we leave NATO, nobody's sleeping good at night anymore. Nobody. Not you. Not me. Not Jesus. There's a cross right there in case y'all wondering why I keep referencing Jesus being behind me. For the sake of all that is holy, y'all motherfuckers better pray. Y'all better pray. And again, I don't give a fuck who you vote for, but you better pray whoever gets in doesn't make us leave NATO. Because if we leave NATO, that Geneva Convention card that I got in my pocket ain't gonna mean shit. Foreign and domestic terrorists. If America falls, I promise you, if America falls, it's done. And then all y'all gonna look back and say, damn, we voted for this guy and he wanted us to leave NATO. And now you got enemies coming in from everywhere. And y'all think that we didn't make enemies? This is what you civilians don't know. Alright? This is what you don't know. And I'm gonna tell it to you. This is what you civilians don't fucking know. We, American soldiers, Marines, Air Force, we know this shit all-heartedly. We have made enemies. We are the bulk of NATO. If NATO disintegrates, your freedoms, they're gone. You ain't got to worry about your First Amendment to have freedom of speech. You ain't got to worry about your Second Amendment to bear arms and protect king and home. Because those guys that'll be paratrooping in at nighttime and all that other bullshit, you don't give a fuck if you got rights here. There's no NATO. There's no protection. Every human has to sleep. Best time to attack is when humans are asleep. And that's exactly probably how it would happen. So you better get your prayers on. You better thank the motherfuckers that serve. Because we may be your last defense. Period. Again, not trying to fearmonger. Just letting you know you're going to get another leader who's never done a day in the military. In fact, very few presidents have seen the military. Period. That's why they have their generals around them. And some of them don't listen to their generals. Which is how we keep having problems. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Don't be scared. Pray.